Moscow's forces have been pressing on the Donetsk town of Vuhledar, although its repeated attacks have failed and been extremely costly. This is according to the British Ministry of Defense, which says Russian forces have been aiming for success in the town because they are in competition with private military group Wagner. Wagner forces have been behind Russia's only notable recent tactical success around Bakhmut, the MOD said. But with a public feud continuing between Wagner and Russia's Ministry of Defense, the UK's MOD said there is a realistic possibility the drive to capture Vuhledar is partially because the Kremlin wants its own success to compete with Wagner's achievements. However, the MOD said Russian attempts to assault the town have almost certainly slowed over the last week. This follows repeated, extremely costly failed attacks over the previous 3 months. One factor in Russia's heavy losses is Ukraine's use of remote anti-armor mine. RAM is a specialist artillery shell able to scatter anti-armor mines at a range of up to 17 kilometers. Ukraine has, in some instances, been launching the mines over and behind advancing Russian units, causing disarray when Russian vehicles attempt to withdraw. After the drone incident, Russia has withdrawn 20 ships and many of its auxiliary fleet's units into the Black Sea on the morning of March 16, said Ukraine's Southern Command spokesperson Natalia Humeniuk, calling it atypical activity and a number of ships. Russian naval units currently stationed in the Black Sea include 4 missile carriers, one of which is underwater, Humeniuk said on national television. A maximum of 28 rockets could be equipped for launch, according to the spokeswoman. Air raid alerts are turned on in all Ukrainian regions as of 9:35 a.m. on March 16. However, all the ships are scattered, Humeniuk added, which can mean that Russian forces are trying to find the wreckage of the American drone recently downed by a Russian jet. Russia's Security Council head Nikolai Patrushev said on March 15 that Russia was looking to retrieve the wreckage of the US MQ-9 Reaper drone that was deliberately forced down by a Russian Su-27 fighter jet over the Black Sea on March 14. Russia denies attempting to down the drone and claims that the incident occurred as a result of a loss of altitude. U.S. National Security Council Communications Coordinator John Kirby clarified this is not the first time U.S. aircraft has been intercepted by Russian fighter jets over the Black Sea. However, Kirby acknowledged that it was unsafe, unprofessional, and reckless. Meanwhile, from Frontline, the General Staff of Ukraine's armed forces reported on March 16 that Russia had lost 162,560 troops in Ukraine since the beginning of its full-scale invasion on February 24 last year. This number includes 1,040 casualties Russian forces suffered just over the past day. According to the report, Russia has also lost 3,504 tanks, 6,810 armored fighting vehicles, 5,394 vehicles and fuel tanks, 2,539 artillery systems, 503 multiple launch rocket systems, 265 air defense systems, 305 airplanes, 289 helicopters, 2,145 drones, and 18 boats. To boast military supports, Canadian Defence Minister Anita Anand announced on March 15 that Canada would provide Ukraine with more ammunition and anti-aircraft defense following the 10th Ramstein format meeting. Additionally, Canada has already started the shipments of Leopard 2 tanks that were pledged in February, Anand said. Ottawa's latest aid package includes 8,000 rounds of 155mm ammunition, 1,800 rounds of 105mm tank training ammunition, and 12 air defense missiles. According to Anand, the tank training rounds will be used for Leopard 1 tanks given to Ukraine by Denmark, Germany, and the Netherlands. In Ukraine, authorities' attempt to reduce the influence of a church acting on behalf of Russia is being misrepresented as part of Russia's information war, according to analysts. The Ukrainian Culture Ministry has terminated the lease that the Ukrainian Orthodox Church Moscow Patriarchate held on a monastery in Kiev, telling the group they must leave in 2 weeks. Prominent Russian military bloggers have exploited the decision by portraying Kiev as attacking religious liberty, the Institute for the Study of War said. The US-based think tank said the UOCMP was an extension of the Russian state and provided support for Russia's invasion of Crimea and eastern Ukraine in 2014. by misrepresenting the Ukrainian government's decision to reduce the Kremlin-controlled UOCMP's influence in Ukraine. Russian milbloggers, military bloggers, are amplifying a known information operation attempting to delegitimize the Ukrainian state and turn international public opinion against Ukraine, the ISW said. They may have had some success, with Pope Francis calling for respect of religious sites in Ukraine after the vacation deadline was issued. The Pope asked the warring parties to respect religious sites, and praised people who devote their lives to prayer, be they of whatever denomination. Earlier this month, Patriarch Kirill, head of the Russian Orthodox Church and a staunch supporter of Russia's invasion, asked Pope Francis to persuade Ukraine to stop its so-called crackdown. Church officials say it and its millions of worshippers are victims of a witch hunt.